Hey, what's up guys? It's TechZoomer talking to you here. And today I will talk about the iPhone 14 because I think I deserve it. I spent more than 2 months not talking about the iPhone 14. But now that we are 1 month away from the release of this iPhone, I think that it's a good video so we can talk about everything that will come out and of course some new leaks that have changed my perspective on the iPhone 14 and if you should buy it or not. So, if you are excited for that, do not forget to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and of course, support me in every single way you can so we can grow and reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. But, like I was telling you, the iPhone 14 is a very highly anticipated phone to come out around September 4th. Some leaks are saying that this iPhone 14 could come out on September 7th with the event happening that day and then the pre-orders happening next week. But we are not sure. John Prosser did not corroborate that, while Apple Track released that leak. So I'm not sure when it will come out, but I'm sure that at least in the next month we will see the iPhone 14 being released. So, of course, no further ado, let's get started. As you know, the iPhone 14 is a very interesting phone. It will be an S year, which means that it will be an upgrade to the iPhone 13s, which were incredible. But this S year upgrade will be weird, because the iPhone 14 will have almost no changes to the iPhone 13. As you know, the iPhone 14 is rumored not even to upgrade the chip. It will use the same A15 chip present on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, while the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will feature the new A16 chip. So this is the first time that the normal iPhones and the Pro ones will have a different chip, and Apple will keep using the same chip from the year before. So expect the iPhone 14 and 14 Max to keep the same A15, although it will be more powerful than the A15 present on the iPhone 13, because it will feature the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max A15 with 6GB of RAM. So expect a little bit more performance when compared to the iPhone 13 and 13 mini A15 chip. So not everything is bad. The iPhone 14 won't change almost anything. It will probably use the same cameras as the current iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max without the telephoto and the LiDAR sensor. But that's all for the iPhone 14. It will probably feature new colors that we are currently unknown, and of course, we can expect nothing else. This will be a very boring phone, and in my opinion, it will start at $800. No jump for that phone. I hope so. Even if because of inflation, I don't think that the prices on that phone will jump very far. But I do think that prices will jump down the lineup. So wait a minute, I will tell you more about it, but just let me recap what will come out on the next phones. So the next phone will be the iPhone 14 Max. The iPhone 14 Max will be a new model on the iPhone lineup, replacing the iPhone 13 mini. This iPhone 14 Max will have the same size as the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but without the Pro features. So it will be the same thing that the iPhone 14 is to the iPhone 14 Pro. The iPhone 14 Max will be the same thing to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So no telephoto, no LiDAR sensor, no stainless steel sides, and no ProMotion display with 120Hz. So expect this iPhone 14 Max to have the same features as the iPhone 14 with a little bit better battery life and of course coming at a higher price because it has a 6.7-inch 60Hz display. So this iPhone 14 Max, in my opinion, will be the best seller on the Apple lineup just because it will have a huge screen that everyone wants to have, but it will be cheaper, coming around, in my opinion, at $950. If I'm not correct, or at least if I'm wrong, the iPhone 14 will start at $849 and the iPhone 14 Max, it will start at $949. No more than that. But in my opinion, I think that coming around for $949 is very close to $1,000, so I think that Apple will just put it at $899. And the iPhone 14 will start at $800, $799, with a contract, of course. Then the others will be $829 and $929. But those are the prices for the iPhone 14 lineup, the normal lineup that I think that everyone won't be that much interested. I do still think that if you are interested in the iPhone 14 normal and the iPhone 14 Max, then you should just buy the iPhone 13s. The difference won't be that much, and of course the price will be a main factor. The iPhone 13 lineup will go down in price, the Pros will be killed off, but the normal lineup will go down in price, and so I do expect that the iPhone 13 will become an amazing deal, especially the iPhone 13 mini, that I expect that Apple will keep on the lineup and of course advertise it a bit more. So they can say that we have a model for everyone, an iPhone 13 mini, an iPhone 14, an iPhone 14 Max, an iPhone 14 Pro, and an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So they have a size for everyone. But let's get on to the Pro lineup, which will get tons of new features and new improvements that I think will make a huge difference. So let's start with the design. The iPhone 14s will keep the same iPhone 13 design, but the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max won't. On the beginning of the year, we got some leaks saying that we will get a different design even on the overall phone for the iPhone Pro models. But that ended up being incorrect from John Prosser, and so now we are expected to have the same design from the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, but with a huge difference: the display, and focusedly, the notch. The notch on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be small down and crunched down to an IOL. This IOL will be special because it will be the first time that Apple removes the notch from any iPhone, since they introduced it, of course. This IOL will be different because it won't be as big as an intrusion on the display. Although I do still expect it to be very, very intrusive, this IOL will mark a way on Apple saying that we want to kill off the notch until, I don't know, 2026, 2027, I don't care. But it at least shows us that Apple wants to remove the notch from the iPhone, and they are working actively on it. So expect this IOL design to come on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, and let's see when I get this phone if I really like this IOL or if I do prefer the old notch from the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But I cannot tell you anything before I get the phone, so these are the facts that happen when this happens. Let's see if Apple comes through with this IOL design, but it's pretty much confirmed by now. Next, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will feature huge cameras, even bigger than now. It's just ridiculous. Look at this comparison between these two. Like, the cameras will be even bigger. It's just stupid how big they are right now, and even bigger than this, I cannot imagine. But of course, like every year, Apple wants to improve their cameras, and this year they will make it special. They will improve, for the first time in several years, the megapixel count on the Pro Max and the Pro models. So expect at least a 48 megapixel camera on the main camera for the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. With this, expect 8K for at least 24 to 30 frames per second available on the next iPhone. Then the next camera features will be a bigger sensor, which includes more resolution photos, and of course, if Apple doesn't do pixel binning correctly, low light performance will take a hit. But if they do, then it works incredibly well using pixel binning. Pixel binning is a technology that allows you to use 48 megapixels and turn them into 12 megapixel shots during the night. So you have huge pixels that can capture much more information, much more light during low light situations. But that's very complicated for me to explain you on only one video, so this is the summary for you guys. But of course, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will also feature more storage for the base model. And why is it important? Because for the first time, I do see Apple increasing the price quite a bit. I do see Apple increasing the price for around $100 on the new iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, if not more. At least in the worst situation, expect an increase in price of $150. So it will go at $1149 for the Pro model and $1249 for the Pro Max model. So this is huge news. The iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be so much more expensive than the predecessors like the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max. That is just stupid. But at least Apple is giving us something. They will increase the size of their SSDs inside their phones. So before, if you got the 256 model, just like me, and you paid $100 more than the base price, now if the price jumps $100, you will pay the same for your phone. The only thing that will change is the fact that Apple will kill off that base entry price. I expect this very much because turns out, tons of leakers are saying now that the iPhone will increase in price. And it does make sense if you think about it. Just because the iPhone hasn't gone up in price in several years since the iPhone 10. And if you think about it, since 2017, inflation has come up quite a bit, more than 15%. So Apple is charging less for their phones each year that passes. So, in my opinion, the iPhone 14 price ladder will be quite special. It will start at $800 for the iPhone 14, then $900 for the iPhone 14 Max, then $1,100 for the iPhone 14 Pro, and of course $1,200 for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. A $200 difference between the iPhone 14 Max and the iPhone 14 Pro, with the differences being the stainless steel sides, one more camera, ProMotion display, and a ton more. I forgot to mention that the display will also get an improvement. It will be a new generation of the LTPO display, so it will run up from 1 Hz to 120 and not from 10 Hz to 120. And why are you asking right now, why is it important for me? Like, why do I care that it goes down to 1 Hz? Well, iOS 16 has revealed that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will have the capability to use the always-on display. finally always on display on iPhone. I'm very excited to see if that works very well. And this capability is one of the main things that I've been complaining about my iPhone 13 Pro Max since the beginning. I really do like a always on display to have on my phone. And let's see if the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max comes with one. If they do, I think that I will use it very much. If I turn up not to use it, then I will give it on the review, guys, because I do think that it's a very big thing. If Apple does want to include always on display, let's see if they work on the battery life. And if they can make the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max battery life even better, gosh, they will be like just incredible. Because the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max battery life is like industry leading. And if they can improve on that, it's just insane. But I do think that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be the biggest jump on the iPhone 14 lineup. The iPhone 14 will be very boring, trust me, very boring. The iPhone 14 Max will be a new model and people will be interested in that and will buy it. But I do think still that the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max will be the more interesting products to watch on Apple event. So what do you think about the iPhone 14 lineup? Do you think that the price hikes are too much for you and you will skip this generation? Or do you think that this is normal? This is Apple adjusting for inflation and it's just a recession and you have to deal with it. Will you buy the iPhone 14 Pro, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, the iPhone 14 or the iPhone 14 Max? Let me know in the comments down below your opinions and of course, which iPhone will you buy? It's a tender and are you upgrading from the iPhone 13? I'd like to know all of that information on the comments down below. And while you're there, do not forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. This has been Tech Sumer talking to you here. Bye.